some mysteries lingered just out of sight. Daniel and his daughter, Lily, had settled into life after losing Evelyn. But when Lily insists she sees her mother at school, Daniel begins to question reality. At first, he dismisses it as imagination, but when others notice a woman near the schoolyard, Daniel starts uncovering shocking family secrets. What if the past isn't buried? What if someone has been watching all along? This is a story of love, loss, and echoes that refuse to fade. Lily sat on the edge of the couch, swinging her legs as she slipped on her sneakers. Her father, Daniel, rushed around the kitchen, pouring coffee into a travel mug while checking the time. Another morning, another frantic race against the clock. Then, out of nowhere, Lily spoke. "Daddy, I see Mommy at school every day." The words hit Daniel like a freight train. His grip on the mug faltered, hot coffee sloshing over the rim. He turned slowly to face his daughter, his heart pounding. "What did you say, sweetheart?" His voice came out quieter than he intended. Lily beamed, completely oblivious to the weight her words carried. "I see Mommy. She's always there, watching me during recess. Sometimes she even waves." Daniel's throat tightened. Evelyn, his wife, Lily's mother, had been gone for over a year. A tragic car accident had taken her from them, leaving a void that neither time nor therapy could fully mend. He forced a smile. "Sweetie, you know Mommy isn't here anymore, right?" Lily's smile faded, but she didn't back down. "You don't have to believe me, Daddy, but I know it's her." Daniel knelt beside her, brushing her blonde curls from her face. He wanted to believe it was just the imagination of a grieving child. But something in Lily's unwavering confidence sent a cold chill down his spine. That morning, after dropping Lily off at school, Daniel made a call to Dr. Mitchell, the psychologist who had helped them both navigate Evelyn's loss. "It's not uncommon," Dr. Mitchell reassured him over the phone. "Children cope with loss in their own ways. Sometimes they create comforting visions of their loved ones." Daniel exhaled, feeling a wave of relief. That relief shattered the next day when Lily came home with something unexpected, a smudge of chocolate on her school shirt. "Mommy gave me a cookie today," she said casually as she climbed onto the kitchen stool. Daniel's heart stilled. "What do you mean, Lily?" She looked at him with innocent certainty. "Mommy gave me a chocolate chip cookie, my favorite, a simple stain, a childish story. But it felt like the beginning of something much bigger." Daniel couldn't ignore it anymore. The next morning, he walked Lily into her classroom and approached her teacher, Miss Harper. "I know this sounds crazy," he admitted, "but Lily keeps saying she sees her mother here. Yesterday, she even said Evelyn gave her a cookie." Miss Harper's expression shifted, not to amusement, not to dismissal, but to something that made Daniel's blood run cold, concern. "Mr. Carter," she said slowly, glancing around before lowering her voice, "I think we should talk in private." Once inside her office, Miss Harper revealed something that sent a chill down Daniel's spine. "You're not the only one who's noticed something strange," she confessed. "Several teachers, and even a few parents have seen a woman who looks remarkably like Evelyn near the school grounds." Daniel's fingers gripped the armrest of his chair. "She never speaks to anyone, just watches, especially during recess." His pulse thundered in his ears. Was Lily really seeing something? Or someone? Determined to uncover the truth, Daniel began showing up at the school during recess. He watched from a distance, scanning the playground for the woman Miss Harper had described. Days passed. Nothing. Then, one afternoon, Miss Harper spotted her. Daniel was across the schoolyard when he saw Miss Harper's expression change. She moved quickly, weaving between groups of children. Then Daniel saw her, the woman. She stood just beyond the fence, partially obscured by a tree. Her long dark hair was tied back, and the resemblance was striking. Miss Harper called out. The woman's head snapped up, and for a fleeting moment, her eyes met Daniel's. Shock, recognition, fear. Then she turned and disappeared into the crowd. Daniel ran, shoving past people, but by the time he reached the spot, she was gone. That night, Daniel barely slept. He pored over old photos of Evelyn, searching for something, anything that might explain what he saw. The next morning, the school janitor, Mr. Grayson, approached him with something unexpected. "I found this near the playground," he said, holding out a small object. A locket. Daniel's breath caught in his throat as he turned it over in his hands. It was old, slightly tarnished, but unmistakable. He had given Evelyn a locket just like this on their anniversary years ago, and inside was a photo of Evelyn and a woman who looked exactly like her. A twin. Confused and shaken, Daniel confronted Evelyn's parents. At first, they denied any knowledge, their expressions a mixture of discomfort and something else, regret. His frustration mounted as he pressed them for answers, his voice rising despite himself. "I need to know the truth," he demanded, "for Lily." Evelyn's father sighed deeply, rubbing his temple as if weighed down by years of unspoken history. Finally, with trembling hands, Evelyn's mother spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "She had a twin, Elise. We separated them when they were young. It was complicated." Daniel could barely process the words. A twin. An identical sister Evelyn had never mentioned. His mind reeled, racing through memories, searching for signs he had missed. How had this secret stayed buried for so long? Why had Evelyn never told him? Why was she taken away, he asked, his voice hoarse. What happened? Evelyn's mother hesitated, glancing at her husband before continuing. There were family struggles, decisions were made, and then over time it became easier to pretend Elise didn't exist. We thought it was best for everyone. We were wrong. The world tilted. Everything Daniel had believed about his wife, about their life, was shattered. But one truth remained clear. This woman watching Lily wasn't just a stranger, she was family. With a renewed sense of urgency, Daniel tracked Elise down, following every lead he could find. Finally, with the help of a neighbor who had seen the mysterious woman's car, he located her. The moment they met, Daniel's heart clenched. Elise was the mirror image of Evelyn. When he confronted her, she looked at him with sorrowful eyes, her lips trembling as if she had been carrying a burden for far too long. "I only found out about Evelyn's death recently," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I never knew I had a niece. I didn't even know if she would want to see me. I didn't know how to approach you," she admitted, her voice heavy with sorrow. "I was too late to make amends with Evelyn, but I wanted to see Lily, to be a part of her life." Daniel stared at her, his mind racing. "But why didn't you come to us? Why watch from a distance?" Elise swallowed hard, her fingers twisting in the fabric of her coat. "I was afraid. Afraid you wouldn't believe me. Afraid you'd think I had no right to be here after all these years. I thought if I just saw her, even from afar, it would be enough. But then I saw her playing, smiling, and I knew I couldn't just disappear." Daniel took a deep breath, emotions warring within him. He had spent so long searching for answers, and now, standing before him, was the missing piece of his wife's past. And yet there was still so much he didn't understand. "Elise, if you wanted to be part of Lily's life, you should have spoken to me." Tears glistened in her eyes. "I know, but I didn't know how. Until now." Elise had been watching from the shadows, unsure if she had a right to step forward. Daniel realized then, she had never meant to scare them. She had only wanted to be part of the family she had never known. After much thought, Daniel decided to introduce Elise to Lily. At first, Lily was hesitant to meet Elise. She clung to Daniel's hand, peeking from behind his leg, her eyes filled with uncertainty. But as she looked into Elise's eyes, something shifted. Elise knelt down, offering a gentle smile, but she didn't push. Instead, she waited, letting Lily take her time. Days passed, and Elise remained patient, joining Daniel and Lily for quiet walks, reading Lily's favorite bedtime stories, and even baking the cookies Evelyn used to make. Little by little, the child's wariness faded, replaced by curiosity. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Lily finally spoke. Her voice was soft, filled with wonder. "You look like Mommy," she whispered, her fingers brushing Elise's hand as if to confirm she was real. Elise smiled softly. "That's because we were twins. Mommy and I were just like you and me." In that moment, the fear, the doubt, the haunting mystery, all of it melted away. Later, they visited Evelyn's grave together. Elise placed the locket beside her sister's name. "I'm sorry," she whispered. As Daniel, Lily, and Elise walked away hand in hand, a new chapter unfolded. One of healing, understanding, and the possibility of family rediscovered. And for the first time in a long time, Daniel felt something he thought was lost forever. Hope.